So, welcome to our festive, slightly chaotic, definitely heart-filled Christmas podcast. If you're listening to this, congratulations. You've officially survived another year with Maxwell Management Group, and that alone deserves a standing ovation, or at least an extra shortbread cookie. This year, our team has been everywhere, from the West Coast to the East Coast, and occasionally somewhere in between, where the Wi Fi only works if you stand on one leg and hold your laptop toward the sky. And yet, somehow, we've pulled off another incredible year together. To our recruitment division, thank you for finding amazing leaders in some of the busiest hiring markets in Canada. You are the reason that organizations sleep at night, or at least sleep better. To our coaching division, your magic continues to transform leaders, one breakthrough conversation at a time. You deserve medals, or at least spa days, or both. To our education division, you've trained, mentored, and guided new clinical leaders all year long. If knowledge is power, then you are basically the Avengers of long-term care. No matter where you're working from, the West Coast or the East Coast, or that one airport lounge that we all know too well, you've brought passion, humor, teamwork, and just the right amount of caffeine to get us through 2025. So grab your eggnog or your coffee and get cozy and join us as we laugh, reminisce, and celebrate the wonderfully talented, slightly over-caffeinated, and always dedicated team that makes Maxwell Management Group what it is. Let's kick off this holiday episode with joy, gratitude, and maybe just a sprinkle of holiday chaos. I'm Heather Maxwell, and I would love for you to join Mission in Motion. So, welcome. We are going to dive in and ask our team some questions today. So, I am going to start off. First of all, I'm going to put on my Santa hat. So, whoever's talking, if you have a Santa hat, that would be great and get us in the holiday season. So, welcome, Jackie, to our Christmas podcast. And perhaps you can kick us off and talk a little bit about our coaching division and what makes us unique, and how does our coaching division help leaders across the healthcare and nonprofit sectors?
Well, happy holidays, Heather. It's nice to see you and spread some holiday cheer as we reflect on the year. Our hope in the coaching division at Maxwell Management Group is that our candidates step into leadership or the roles that they've been appointed to with less strain, with more alignment, and that they really feel like they make decisions that are true to who they are. Not what they think they're supposed to be doing, but true to who they are, and what a privilege it is for us to fit and find the right candidate with the right role that they feel like they can fit. And so I feel like my hope as we think about our clients and where we want to go with our coaching division is that we hope that our clients discover the power of maybe slowing down this season to hear their own wisdom. And we get to help support in terms of coaching with building systems, habits, boundaries that make their lives feel a little bit more spacious rather than overwhelming. And so we're hoping that through kind of our coaching and support that they feel supported, they feel seen, they feel equipped to translate their vision into sustainable action as we support them through their new placements.
Yes, that is so important, isn't it, Jackie? And that's one thing that we love is when we're recruiting, we just don't look for people that have the right degree, or perhaps that have, just worked in the role before. We really look for that alignment, right, with the mission, vision, and values of the organization and the new leader that's hired, that there's alignment there, and that we support them in their new role as they come into their new role, that we support them with the executive coaching. So that's amazing, Jackie. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you want to add about our coaching division?
We love to support the wonderful folks who are recruited through Maxwell Management Group. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, all the things.
Yes, thank you, Jackie. And so we will move on now to Anna. And Anna is our education coordinator, and she does an amazing job supporting us in so many ways with our across our education and recruitment division. So, Anna, can you talk about what's one moment that you wish you could delete from this year?
So let me just wear my Christmas hat.
Yes,
So for
your
this year,
Christmas hat. I love.
I would say I would be deleting all the times I didn't wear lipstick during our Zoom calls. It's just one way of like showing up for for the meeting and having this bright outlook and to be visually presentable in our calls and connecting with others. So with our education department, we do meet a lot of people online and we use online to be sharing the education content to different POCs and different people. And I just feel that when you have more color and you do have like that more um, vibe or energy online, it also brings a lot of people. It also passes on to different people. So yeah. So I think I would delete all the times that I did not put lipstick during a Zoom call.
That is hilarious, Anna. Well, you always looked very lovely to me, but you're right with our education division. We offer live online classes, especially for new leaders in the healthcare and nonprofit space. And they can all log in from anywhere across Canada. We try to make it as convenient as possible. And so everyone logs in from wherever they may be. But you always looked awesome to me, Anna. So thank you so much for organizing us, keeping us, on track in our education department. So thank you so much. And we are going to move on to Catherine, who is our regional director on the West Coast of Canada. So, Catherine, I want to ask you, what was your most unexpected plot twist moment in 2025?
So mine is relatively recent. Just this month, I confidently showed up for a meeting at the completely wrong address. In recruitment, I'm used to those surprises candidates who withdraw, interviews that move, and roles that will suddenly shift. But this time, I was the plot twist. What could have been a major setback actually turned into a reminder of how important adaptability and quick recovery is in the field. In a full year of timelines, talent shortages, and shifting priorities, that moment taught me that even when the storyline goes off shift, professionalism, communication, and a sense of humor can turn a misstep into another part of the journey. So, as Santa says, next time I'm making a list and checking it twice. Joy and blessings for the holiday season.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Catherine. But actually, there was an upside to you having the wrong address because when you got to the right address, they felt so badly for you that they gave you muffins, right? They had a whole bunch of sweet treats out for you.
Yes, that's true. Arnold came by and offered me muffins.
Right. So that is good. That is good. I love it, Catherine. Well, thank you so much for all the work that you do on the West Coast, primarily in BC and Alberta, for our clients, and again, finding the right leaders for our clients' roles. Again, the leadership positions are so critical and so important. So, thank you so much for all your support in that area, Catherine.
Thank you.
And Daniel, I am going to hop over to you. So, Daniel, you are our trusted advisor in British Columbia, and you do a lot to help us network and support clients in British Columbia in particular, and somewhat Alberta as well. And Daniel, I just want to say thank you for first of all your hard work and all the support that you provide to me and to our team on the West Coast. It's so valuable and so greatly appreciated. But I want to ask you, what moment totally caught you off guard this year in a good or funny way?
Well, first of all, thank you for those comments. It's been a real pleasure to work with the Maxwell team over the last, I guess, over a year, I guess, is we're going on now. And I guess my official title before I answer you is ambassador, which I do
Ambassador.
enjoy
That's
that
what you
title.
are,
So
ambassador.
it's a
That's
very
right.
nice,
That's
yeah. A few of my friends have seen it on my LinkedIn profile. They said, "Hello, ambassador." It's nice to, so
I love it.
yeah, it
You're
was great.
running for mayor, but you're already
I
ambassador.
am. I am. And that's a great segue because that actually leads to what I was going to talk about. So I did announce on September 18th, currently a city councilor in the city of New Westminster, and I did announce that I was going to be running for mayor, and the elections are next year, next October. If you live in New Westminster, I'd love your support. But my moment was I went to the event that my big announcement was going to take place, and everyone kind of kicked me out. They said, "Get out of here, come back. We're going to get everything set up." And I just remember walking up the hill to the venue, and you're kind of like a little bit in the daze. And I saw this like massive lineup of people outside, and I kind of commented to the person. I thought, "Oh my gosh, there must be like a concert or something happening near where we're having our event." As we walked closer to the venue, I realized that the 350 people standing in line to get in were actually coming in to see me. So
Oh,
it was phenomenal. It was such a great
great.
surprise. I know you never know who's gonna show up, and you never know, like, are people gonna come out? And it was fantastic community support. So I got the chance to kinda say hi to everybody in line and then snuck in the building. So that was just a wonderful moment for me that I'll never forget in 2025.
Aw, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I know that you and I, and also Catherine, just did a tour of BC, a quick and furious tour of a week long visiting many of our clients across BC, long term care, continuing care providers. And, you were directing us, making sure we knew whether to take a plane, train, or automobile to each different site. And so we made it, thank goodness, in one piece because I literally didn't have an idea where some of these places were.
And and I have to say, Heather, I hope that we get an opportunity on this podcast for you to tell your funny story of getting into the Airbnb, because that one has to be one of your more memorable moments for 2025 for sure.
Yes, it does. But I have to say, Daniel, that Airbnb was like Fort Knox. I literally could not get into this Airbnb. It was like Fort Knox, and I had to figure out how to buzz in and go way up to the 33rd floor, and then come back down, and then get into the parking garage, and then go back up to the 33rd floor. Oh my gosh, it was like and I was illegally parked the whole time because there was, of course, no parking in New West where I was. And it was crazy. So it took me quite a while to get to access the Airbnb while I was there. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Daniel.
All the best. Have a Merry
Thank you,
Christmas.
Daniel. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for your help. Merry Christmas. So we will move on now to Hillary, who is our newest team member. She just recently joined us. Welcome, Hillary, and happy holidays. So nice to have you join us on our Christmas podcast. And Hillary, this is kind of a funny story because you and I met at an event, a ladies' event, Dare to Thrive in Collingwood. And when we didn't know each other, and we were sat next to each other at the event at dinner, and you and I sort of struck up a conversation. And I remember when I returned home from that event, I thought, you know what? I just want to work with that woman. I just want to, have her on our team. And so it's so funny how we met at a ladies' event, ladies' empowerment event. And then I reached out to you to see if you might be interested in joining our team. And you were, thank goodness for us. That was so amazing. And so welcome, Hillary. I'm so excited to have you on our team. And it's so funny. You never know where you're going to meet people. And this is why it's so great to network and attend events like this because you never know who you will meet, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that was such a great event. And so, Hillary, I just want to ask you if you had a magic button for 2025, what would it change?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm gonna put my hat on.
Yes, please
Um,
do.
but I had an unfortunate situation this year. I put it in the dryer
Oh, no.
and it shrunk, but I have it here.
I love
Um,
it.
but I do want to say thank you, Heather. Yes, we met at the Dare to Thrive event. I got to meet Janice and Catherine as well while we were there, and I feel very privileged and honored to be part of this team. So, what would I change if I had a magic wand? So, I had to put a little thought into this question because it's pretty broad, like in the world, in Canada. Anyway, I decided to bring it down to our work world. And so, what I would change is I would give everyone the gift of courage and calm. I would give them the ability to deal with change and what comes at us with perhaps not needing all the coffee and caffeine that we do. And I think the world could use a little more grace, a lot more people feeling like they're being supported, and kindness. And so that is what I would use my magic wand for.
Oh, I love that, Hillary. Thank you so much. I think it's so important, especially with what we do in helping organizations to recruit, retain, and train their staff that we do so with empathy and compassion, and that we always remember that people have things going on in their lives that we may not know about, right? And so we always have to keep that in mind when we are working with others. And so I agree with you. Kindness is obviously just so important in the workplace and everywhere, right? So thank you for adding that, Hillary. We so appreciate.
No, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Merry
Happy New Year.
Christmas. Yes, happy holidays and happy New Year. That's right. Thank you, Hillary. This podcast is brought to you by Maxwell Management Group. For nearly 2 decades, we've worked side by side with individuals, teams, and organizations to uncover what makes them exceptional and to help them grow from the inside out. It's not just about reaching goals, it's about creating success that feels deeply authentic and genuinely meaningful. Organizations like people have stories, and when those stories are rooted in purpose, they become powerful forces for attraction, culture, and identity. We are committed to partnering with brands that want to lead with intention, cultivate vibrant workplace cultures, and become the kind of employer that top talent seeks out, not because of perks, but because of purpose. Over the past 18 years, I've had the privilege of leading Maxwell Management Group's growth into a highly specialized national executive search and education firm, one that thrives on values, vision, and the belief that when people lead with purpose, extraordinary things happen. To find out more about our executive search, recruitment, and education services, please visit us at maxwellmanagementgroup.com. So, I would like to welcome Laura Lavallee to our Christmas podcast. Welcome, Laura. It's so nice to see you.
So nice to be seen. Thank you, Heather. Thanks for having the chat. Always lovely to see what's going on with Maxwell. Busy time of year for us.
Yes, it is so busy, isn't it? Absolutely. So, Laura is one of our executive coaches on our executive coaching team. And, I just want to thank you so much, first of all, for joining today, Laura, our Christmas special, and for always sharing your exceptional insight, your warmth, and wisdom. And your guidance has been a steady source of support for leaders across our sector, and especially those that we have placed in leadership roles. And we are truly grateful for the impact that you make. Your reflections are always both inspiring and grounding, offering the perfect close to a year of growth, learning, and transformation, as we're going to talk about today. So, thanks again for joining us. We both have our Christmas gear on. And I just thought maybe we could talk a little bit about the executive coaching that we do, Laura. And why do you feel our executive coaching is so important for leaders that we have placed in new leadership roles across the country?
Mm. Well, it's a great question, Heather, and thank you. And what I find is actually really special about Maxwell is there's really that continuity of care, both in sort of what we teach in terms of how new leaders come into different facilities and healthcare environments, and make sure that there is that transition to care for the clients, but also themselves, right? Bearing in mind this was really exasperated during the pandemic, where leaders had not only a growing task list, but also there was transitions of staffing across multiple sites, competing priorities and gaps in service. And so the Maxwell approach I stand by, and I'm privileged to be a part of, is really looking at an individual holistically. And as they transition into that new role, how do we make sure that there's no bumps for the employer? We know they've entrusted us to make sure that their organizations are running sufficiently. And then how do we also make sure the personal element of the candidate, there's no bumps? And so we all know when you start a new job, everyone's quick to say, how is it going? Like, have you met the team yet? And we want those questions to be responded to with confidence, and that they have a support system to navigate when things perhaps are a bit of a disconnect from what they anticipated. And so it's a beautiful role that I get to play in navigating in between the employer and the individual, to making sure that everyone's on the same page, they're running together to those strategic goals, and they're supported. So really a privilege to be able to do that.
Yes, that is amazing, Laura. And I think you hit the nail on the head, to be honest, because it is so important that, even during our discovery with the client before we start the recruitment process, we do a deep dive with the client to ensure that we understand what is going on in their organization, what is their strategic plan, first of all, and what goals do have they set? And especially for the new leader that is coming into the organization, what does that look like for them? And what are the current, the great things about the organization and the role? And what are some of the challenges as well? And I just find that that is a key piece in what we do to make sure that we are accurately telling the candidates, what are the great things going on with this organization, but also what are some of the challenges that they're going to face when they come into the role, and that we just portray that very, very accurately, and then that we support them once the finalist candidate is selected and starts the role. We just wanna make sure that they're properly supported coming into the role, and talk to them and get them thinking about, what does the first 30, 60, 90 days and up to 180 days really look like? Because we know, and there's lots of data out there, that if people aren't properly supported in their roles, especially in that first, 6 months, many times it just won't work out, right? And so I feel like we go above and beyond to make sure that these new leaders, or the leaders that are in these new roles, are properly supported with the executive coaching. And so I just feel that, and that everyone's in alignment, right? As they get off and they get started. And I just feel like that. I'm so passionate about that because I just feel like it's so important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And really, I find the diversity in which we support. So quite literally, it could be someone saying, "Listen, I'm navigating change management. New PSWs are a bit resistant to change. Is a new phase. How do I navigate that?" All the way to, it's time to implement a new med management policy. What are BPSO standards saying? What's accreditation Canada saying? And how do we implement that? So there's sort of qualitative, quantitative elements to the role, and then we really pivot to meet the needs of both the client and the candidate themselves. So yeah, no, it's a very exciting role. I'm very proud to be part of it.
Yes, thank you so much, Laura. And so, Laura, tell us about, I know we've had some perhaps funny situations this year happen. And, in 2025, the realities of the workforce are a little bit different, right? As we're progressing, and there's always new sort of issues popping up. I know that we have discussed a few issues like bringing pets to work, for example. That's always, or it seems to be quite a hot topic these days, right? Some people are very passionate about bringing their pets to work. And in some scenarios, it is appropriate because we do have clients that are in, for example, long-term care homes where sometimes pets are allowed, and honestly, pet therapy, as we know, is quite good, right? Quite good for residents, and residents love it. But it's not always appropriate either in certain settings. And so, how do we deal with things like that, like that, Laura, where perhaps somebody wants to bring a pet to work, for example, they're Mr. Whiskers?
Hi. Well, it's so funny you say that, Heather, because there's definitely been a lot of Mr. Whiskers lately. And you know, kind of like you said, the industry is changing, and it's nice to know that organizations are creating environments where people feel that they can bring their whole selves. And then where do we sort of delineate that that doesn't mean your entire family or pets? And so, yeah, it has. It's come up a few times now, especially with the intersection of, say, paws, so therapeutic dog programs, as well as just in general, the nature and the awareness of sort of that family like model. And so we've had different things that have come up. People have brought their pets to work and had to navigate that through, very tactfully, and obviously as the coach supporting them and like, yes, we understand your desire to bring Mr. Whiskers. However, do you understand the high regulations as to not? Um, so a very unique conversation to be having. What I do find is luckily by the time the candidates have got to me, they're such strong candidates are client, they're new in role, depending on the terminology we're using. But I would say that by the time they've gotten to me, they're such excellently sourced and creditable, strong employees. My job is the fun bits, is sort of navigating. Okay, so Susie's there, and how do we get buy-in from Susie? What are skip level meetings we can have? What are fireside chats we can organize? How do we get Susie on board? Is it sort of someone that's resistant to change management versus the wild stories that I'm confident the frontline team get to see every day? But yes, I would say you're absolutely right, Heather. The wanting to bring their whole self, including Mr. Whiskers, is something that comes up more often than I would like. But luckily, we're able to nip it in the bud.
That's right, that's right. And how would you say, Laura, how do you feel about, when do you know that the coaching has been successful? Like, when do you feel it's been successful?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say that there's always the first sessions taken on with a bit of trepidation. And so, what does this mean? What does it entail? What's Laura's role in navigating it? And then we see a steep incline. As soon as clients have had that first initial session, from that, there's a desire to go through. For me, it's really when you see change. And so change typically comes in the form of sort of goals and deliverables. Our first session goes through first, how are they feeling about the role? Is there some areas that perhaps they feel that there may be a bit of a disconnect? So, perhaps out of the candidate had 9 out of 10, but there's one area that the job is requesting of them that they don't have experience in. So we align to say, how do we make sure that we increase your bench strength and toolkit so then you're walking into this role really strong? And so I would say when those tools are then being utilized, and then I also really do love the information that we get from the home as well, the organization as well, to say, oh, this new employee is well rounded. However, we have seen that perhaps they need a little bit of education on perhaps a very small piece such as a financial report and how to read that. And then we take the time to go through it, and then obviously their positive feedback. So I think there's lots of ways, both seeing the growth in themselves, the confidence in themselves, feedback from the employee, and just generally the level of engagement. I think, yeah, when you go from, nervous to take the call all the way to, Laura, these are the 10 things I wrote down in my notebook because I absolutely need to navigate them with you, is what success looks like to me.
Amazing. That is so great to hear, Laura. And yes, the nice thing is that the leaders that we place, they're very, very on board to have the executive coaching because they also know that it's just another tool in their toolbox to help them be successful, and especially as they acclimate to a new role and a new organization, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's safety on both sides. Really
Yes.
full wraparound.
Yeah. So true. Absolutely. Well, that's awesome, Laura. Is there anything else that you would like to add today?
No, just again, what an amazing, wholesome program that we offer. I'm really proud to be part of it as someone who, with a background in social work and understanding the intersection between, happy staff and brings happy culture, which brings happy results and strong results. And so, if you're going to drive a, quality improvement plan across your organization, or you're going to drive a performance based culture, it's going to come from a happy team member. And so, it's an honor to be part of that. And I'm really proud of the way in which we look at it from a Maxwell perspective in that holistic way. So
Yes.
thank you, Heather. You're building something beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura. And thank you so much. We so appreciate your support and everything you do on the executive coaching side and your commitment to helping leaders lead well. Thank you again for being part of this special episode today and for everything you do to elevate people, culture, and leadership in our sector.
Thank you, Heather.
We are always working to strengthen our culture and our collaboration. We have a recruitment division, an education division, a coaching division. And so we all work very, very collaboratively with our clients. And I just think that enhances our service offerings for our clients. And so I think next year, we always want to focus on building an even stronger, more connected team culture, one where again every voice feels valued, supported, and empowered to contribute. And we are always looking to advance people and culture innovation. That is our mission. And I hope that we accomplish meaningful progress in shaping innovative people and culture solutions that elevate care, strengthen teams, and reduce workforce challenges for our client partners. So, we are all about driving excellence in client experience. So, again, we will be looking to do more of that in 2026. And I am going to bring Charlyn on as well and ask Charlyn. So, Charlyn is one of our recruitment leads in Ontario, and she does a fabulous job with especially clinical leadership positions, recruiting and working with our clients on those very, very challenging to fill positions. And so, Charlyn, first of all, I want to welcome you and thank you for everything you've done this year. You've done such a tremendous job with all of our clients. And thank you. And, welcome to our Christmas podcast.
Thank you, Heather. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. And so, Charlyn, can you tell me what do you hope future you is proud of?
I had to think long and hard about this. It's always interesting to reflect on the future and to see what you'd look back on. And I think the future me would be very proud of the people that I've mentored, supported, and opened doors for. I really hope that I've been able to use my platform to lift others up. And for me, leadership isn't ever about titles. I don't believe that. It's always about impact. And if future me could or can say that I made people feel valued, seen, and supported, I think that's a legacy that I'd be really proud of.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that you do that every day, Charlyn, because you are so supportive you work very hard. Number one, you have an amazing work ethic, but you also work very hard to ensure that each client is well supported, as are all of the candidates that you work with. And I know you always go above and beyond to ensure an exceptional experience. So thank you so much for all that you do. And you help as well support our team. And so is there anything else that you would like to add about just summarizing up what 2025 was like for you?
It's funny, when I first started in recruitment, Heather and I have known each other for many, many years. And I've been on her team now for just over 5 years. And when I first started, I wasn't sure how I was going to wrap my head around recruitment because it was so new to me. But each year that I've progressed in my role as a recruiter for your team, Heather, it's just, I won't say it's getting easier. but it's getting more comfortable. So this year was more comfortable for me. So and I'm very appreciative of your support, and certainly from all of the colleagues that I have on our team as well. We all I'm very grateful for all of them. We all work very well together.
Yes, I agree. I feel like we have just an amazing team. And that speaks to every single person on this team and the culture that we've been able to build together and the collaboration and how well we work together. So thank you so much for that, Charlyn. I so appreciate it. And Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
you're very, very welcome. Thank you. Merry Christmas. And I do want to say a Happy New Year as well to all of our current and future clients and candidates.
Yes, thank you so much, Charlyn. Thank you. And I'm going to hop over to Janice. And Janice, if you had to describe your year as a Christmas gift, what would it be?
Okay. Well, I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday. And I have to say, I'm sorry, my Santa hat is out on loan. So I don't have it with me.
Did
So
Santa steal it?
yeah. My year, I'm looking at it, and so it'll be a couple of things, more like an advent calendar. So every day reveals something new. Um, Someday it's delightful. Some days it's maybe a little stressful. Obviously, there are some days where it's a really nice surprise, and probably a few days in there when, maybe it should come with a warning label. So, but that's just the nature of everything. Every day is different, and I embrace that. I love that. To get through those days, the gift part to me is more like a Swiss Army knife. So, but all these blades to choose from, and depending on what's happening that day, you're going to keep going through that knife till you find the blade that's going to work for you. And whether that's strategy or diplomacy or humor, patience, whatever it may be that day. So, that's kind of what, I would say I really enjoy about this job and working with Maxwell is that it is different every day. A lot of challenges, a lot of, great people that we work with, that we can just talk to and get some other ideas, but yeah, I think that's kind of what it looks like to me, every day, so and I love it, so Christmas every day.
Aw, that's so nice, Janice. I love it. And I have to say that the variety in our work, I think, is what keeps us all sharp. I agree with that. And it's our resilience that carries us through the unexpected and helps us grow, as you were referring to that army knife. And you have to sort of, look at which blade you need that day. But that does keep us sharp, helps us to grow. And it does take some, patience and resilience, though, to do that, right? Absolutely. And, you do such an amazing job, Janice, as well. You do, a lot of, almost all leadership positions and a lot of operations positions, and some I know you've done some finance and HR positions as well this year. So very versatile in the we are, working with clients in all areas, whether it's clinical, whether it's operations, whether it's HR, whether it's finance, we can help, support in attracting the right people to those roles and help with onboarding, coaching, retention, all of those pieces. And you do such a fabulous job, Janice, with all of that. And is there anything else that you want to mention about, any memorable moments that you can think of in 2025?
I guess what I'd like to say is, I've just met some really fabulous people throughout my time working here. Every client that we've worked with, every candidate that I've worked with, it's just amazing to make these. Some of them are friendships, but to just have these bonds and work with them and get to know them because I really enjoy that side of this sector is just like getting to meet those people and just building those relationships with people. And then I think just being able to support them, help someone, get a job, help a client fill a role. It's very rewarding. So I find it very fulfilling that way.
Oh, that's amazing, Janice. And you do such a great, great job of relationship building. You are an excellent relationship builder and you have a strong work ethic as well. And I agree with you. It is just so satisfying and meaningful to help someone find the right role because we spend so much of our time at work, right? That we better enjoy it because we spend so much time there. And so that alignment piece is so important when we're recruiting the right person for the right role and matching them with the right organization. And you do such a tremendous job of that. So thank you so much, Janice, for all your hard work this year and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
And so I would like to sum up our Christmas podcast just by saying that, it was so much fun to have our team look back on the year with honesty, humor, and gratitude. We shared moments that lifted us up, made us laugh, and the stories that brought us closer together. As we reflect on our proudest achievements, we celebrate the people who make a difference. And, we like to talk about what we learned along the way. So, this was a really warm, lighthearted wrap up to the year and a reminder of how much we accomplished together. So, we are just so thankful and grateful for being in business 18, almost 19 years now, serving the healthcare and nonprofit sectors across Canada. And we thank each and every one of the people that we had the privilege of supporting this year, whether that was someone that was looking for a new role or an organization that needed a strong leader or an organization that perhaps had leaders that needed more education, more coaching. We are just so grateful for the opportunity to partner with you and walk alongside you to strengthen your people and culture. So, thank you to all of you, and thank you for joining us for our special Christmas team podcast. And we look forward to seeing you and working with you in 2026. Please feel free to visit our website at maxwellmanagementgroup.com. And also, please like and subscribe to our podcast wherever you download podcasts. Thank you for joining and see you next time.